Hello everybody and welcome back to another My Porch Prints tutorials. Today we are going to be making Christmas cards 3 different ways. The first 2 I've already gone ahead and sort of pre-assembled here, so I'm sort of just going to show you real fast. If you're in need of like a really quick Christmas card, you might like these loaded Christmas tags that we have in our shop, and I will have links to everything down below, so it'll be in the description box if you would like to find it. These would also make really good Christmas decorations or tags for presents, or put them in a Christmas daily. You could give them away to somebody else who likes to craft and they could use the tags in it for tags on their presents. So yeah, these are pretty versatile and they're really fun, simple, quick way to put something really like festive and decorative together. Alright, next we are going to be taking a look at our Yummy Christmas and Pink Christmas 3D frame tags. You could also use the French rabbits or the woodland one, and we've gone ahead this year and made a new snow globe base, so I will have a link to that down in the shop as well, and that helps you make like a little snow globe like decoration or like an ornament if you'd like to use it that way. And it comes with 3 bases, the red one, the pink one, the red one I've already used, the pink one I'm gonna show you how to use, and then it comes with like a blank one if you'd like to use that for like the woodland themed 3D frame tag. So to use this, all you have to do is cut it out and add it to the back. I'm gonna be using a little bit of Fabri-Tac here, and I'm just gonna put that glue on the rim here. This is really quick and simple, but I did want to show you how. And if you've never put together a 3D frame tag, we do have a tutorial for that, so I will link that down in the description box below if you would like to see how these are put together. And there you go, you just glue it to the back here right under the rim, and it's as simple as that. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little eyelet by punching a hole in this like top piece up here, and then using an eyelet press, I will just press down that eyelet so that it is flat. And I do have a little bit of hemp rope that I will be using to create, like, you can make a loop, so if you want to hang it on the tree you could do that, or you could just make like a little tie off to use it as a tag. Alright, now we can go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of this video, which is going to be decorating these file pocket tags from our shop. And these are not Christmas decorated, but we are going to make them look Christmas decorated. So we do not have a video on the assembly, but it is really simple and it comes with instructions. You just have to cut this out and fold it along the center line, and then go ahead and add glue to the top and bottom while folding it in half. And then that creates a space for this little card, which is assembled the same way. You just fold it in half along the center line, and then it has a little page tab that you fold in half and glue onto the outside, just like this. And now you have your finished file pocket tag. And it does come with 4 different designs. We're going to be decorating all 4 of these today, so go ahead and stick with me here as we do that. So I'm going to start with the blue one, and I'm going to be using the Yummy Blue Christmas kit for this one. I have a lot of kits we'll be using. I will have them all linked down below, but I'll try to shout them out as we go as well. So beginning off with some pieces that caught my eye here, I'm just going to kind of lay things out. You don't have to use the same ones as me, but it's entirely up to you. And originally I thought I was going to be decorating only 2 tags, but I was having so much fun I did all 4, so we're going to go ahead and just sort of work our way along, starting a little slower with this first one and then speeding up as we go. Besides the kit, I also did use some of these Christmas skinny word tags and also a little bit of cheesecloth, so we'll be decorating with both of those as well. So to get started, we are just going to cut this little tag open. I'm going to use go straight horizontally to create kind of like a little pocket rim, and then follow along the shape of this like frame here. And I'm going to be cutting it to fit and work like a little tuck spot pocket, and I'm also going to put a little lace on top, so I'm just grabbing that now for later. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the sides and bottom of this piece here. Sorry if it seems a little like scattered right now. I was really just making this up as I went, and then it kind of became a formula as I decorated the rest of the files. So right now I'm just going ahead and creating that little pocket here, pressing everything down till it is dry, and then I'm going to add a little bit of this decorative lace at the bottom. And I got this lace from Walmart. It was pretty cheap. I think they have it online as well. I will try to find a link for that if I can. And then I'm going to be taking one of these little tags, and it's going to be tucking in behind the tuck spot that we made. And I'm going to go ahead and decorate it really quick by adding this like wishing you a Merry Christmas ephemera piece. And it's a little bit long for the tag, but I'm going to go ahead and keep that because I like the way it looks. And I'm going to add a bit of cheesecloth behind it like this. And then I'll just trim up the cheesecloth to kind of match the shape a little bit better. And then I also have this little blue page tab that I'm going to add to the top of the tag as well, just by folding it in half and then gluing it down to either side of the tag. And again, I'll use Fabri-Tac for all of this. So just trimming it up a little bit more and gluing down the layers here. All right, and there you go. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the inside file just because I'm going to be punching a hole in the top here, and I don't want to accidentally punch a hole into the file itself. So we're going to punch a hole out of the tag and then add an eyelet, and again going in with that eyelet press and flattening it. And the tag should be short enough, even with the page tab on it, to fit behind our little tuck spot and not cover up that hole at the top that we just made. Alright, and I'm going to add the little skinny word tag. We have Christmas ones and we have regular ones. And I'm also going to take this little Merry Christmas label, and it's going to be going on the bottom. So starting with the skinny word tag, I'm going to use a micro hole punch in the left corner here, and taking a bulb pin, I will add that word in. And I've already assembled the words and added a little bit of distress ink in the color Vintage Photo to them to make them look a little bit older. And this is one of the ones from the non-Christmas skinny word tags. I end up changing it later to a Christmas one because I didn't realize I grabbed it out of the wrong pile, but that's okay. You get the idea. Alright, now we can add this Merry Christmas label, and I'm going to use a little bit of puff tape to do that, to give it some dimension. So I'm just going to use this double-sided puff tape and add 3 different pieces here, and just add it to the bottom on top of that lace. Just like so. Alright, and starting off with the little file that goes inside, I'm going to be using a little blue Christmas journal word, and I'm going to cut out the word Christmas, just going to keep it real basic here since it's on the bottom. And I'm going to trim it down to fit this top label area here. So you can see me kind of thinking about what I want to do here, but we're just going to go ahead and trim this off, and I'm going to use a little bit of that Vintage Photo Distress ink around the edge of the journal word to make it look a little more finished, just like this, and then I'm going to glue it down. Sorry if I sound a little stuffed up, by the way. I've got allergies just taken over this morning. Alright, and just going over the card with that Vintage Photo Distress ink as well, and gluing down that journal word. Alright, and now we can continue decorating. So I'm going to take this like faux lace page band that comes with the kit, and I'm going to be using it to decorate the edge. So just finding the edge with a fingernail, I'm going to make a little crease here, and that's going to be my guide for cutting this out. You could of course measure if you'd want to do it that way, but I like to just kind of eyeball things. I'm not very good at measuring, so I'm going to crease it and cut it out and then glue it down and trim off any extra that I had. Just like that. All right, and now working on the back, I'm going to take this blue tag that I have and I'm going to fold another crease, just going from this corner to this edge here. And we are going to cut that off and turn this into a little pocket. So just go ahead and follow that crease, trim that off, just like so. All right, and now we are going to go over it with a little bit of that vintage photo distress ink, just to make it look a little bit finished. And then adding some glue to the sides and the bottom, but leaving the top open so that we can tuck a few things into here, like this little tag. There we go. And again, I'm going to go over a journal word with a little bit of distress ink and just add it to the top of the tag here. There you go. And that file is done, so we can go ahead and tuck it into the larger tag. And then I'm going to go over the entire tag with that vintage photo distress ink. All right, and there it is when it is totally finished. This would be a really cute Christmas tag for the tree or a present or a journal, anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and create a little series here. So the next one we are going to do is a mix of yummy vintage Christmas and Christmas traditions. Both of those kits have sort of similar elements and I just kind of was pulling them out of the box. So I'm going to again take this little card here and cut out around this like Christmas cookie star and make that pocket same as we did before. And then again removing the file and making a little hole at the top, adding an eyelet just like that. And I'm taking a slightly different lace here for the bottom of this one. And then again going in with the card and adding a little page tab to it to go into the little pocket on the front. And then I didn't have a Merry Christmas. I couldn't find one. I must have used it. So I decided to just cut one out from this tag. And I'm going to be using that at the front to make like the little decorative Merry Christmas ephemera piece using the puff tape so that it sort of has some dimension to it. All right, and then I'm going to add this top of the card that I had. I'm not sure which card this is from or which kit it's from. You could use anything. I just cut this little shape out from one of the Christmas cards. And then I'm going to add glue to the bottom and the sides, making it like a little pocket to go on the back of the file and going around the entire thing pretty heavily with that distress ink. And then I've got these little jars that come with the Christmas Traditions kit, and I'm just going to go ahead and tuck these in here like this. You could glue them down if you don't want them to move. It's entirely up to you. I just left them loose. And then taking some of the journal words that come with that kit, I am going to be going over them with the vintage photo distress ink and gluing them down to this like scrap piece that I had from the Christmas Traditions kit. And then I'm going to make little frames for them out of that, again going in with that distress ink. And we are going to glue these down to the back of the card like this. And while those dry, we can go ahead and add our skinny word tag to the larger tag here in the corner. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and tear this little piece off from that same scrap that we used. And I'm just going to go over it with some distress ink on the edge, on the torn edge that we just made, and then glue it down to the side of the front of the file. Just like that. And then I'm going to trim off any extra. All right. And then again, going over anything that got cut off with that distress ink. And then I had one of those skinny word tags, and instead of like punching a hole and turning it into a little decorative label, I'm just gonna like glue it down to the bottom here. And then I'm also going to use a journal word, and I'm going to cut out the word Merry, going over it really heavily with that distress ink. And I'm going to glue it down right here. But first I decided to make a little frame. I had this scrap piece, so I'm just going to go and cut a little decorative frame for it, just to give it a little bit more dimension, make it look a little more finished. And again, I didn't measure anything, I just sort of eyeballed what looked nice and then went over it with some distress ink. And we're gonna put it right on that file tab here on the side. Let's glue that down. And then since I had the rest of this, I decided to cut out the word Christmas exhibition and go over it with some distress ink and then add it to the back of the card with a little bit of cheesecloth here, just cutting off the extra. And then we will just glue that down like that. And then we can add our little tag here. All right, and there you go. This card is done. All right, now we can start with the pink one. So again, moving the inner file and working on the tag itself. And for this one, I'm going to be using the pink Christmas Gnomes kit since I've already used a bunch of it before. I figured I'd go ahead, but you could use the yummy pink Christmas kit instead if you prefer. And I'm gonna take some decorative paper here and just tear sort of a diagonal edge to it and glue it down to help decorate the front of the tag, just like this, going over the torn edge with some distress ink, and then cutting off any extra, and again going around the edge of the card with distress ink as well. And I'm going to take this card and cut out this little like gingerbread house scene here, and going over the sides and bottom with glue, gluing it down and adding a decorative lace edge to it as well. And then I didn't have a card that I felt was the right size, so I'm just going to make my own out of that same Christmas gnome tag that I had. So I'm going to take this tag and place it over and just trace so that it's the same size. Just like this. And then I will cut out that shape so that I have a tag that I know fits properly. And I'm going to go ahead and add this little pink striped page tab to the top like this. Just adding some glue to the front and back of the tag. There you go. And then I'm also going to be using this little pink Merry Christmas label that comes with the kit. And using that puff tape again, same thing. Okay, and I'm going to be adding this little pink like cupcake stamp, as well as these little pink Christmas journal words. And I'm going to add a little bit of cheesecloth with the journal words and a little bit of distress ink to them as well. And then for the stamp, I'm going to use a little bit of puff tape just to give it some dimension. Alright, so there's that. And now I can go ahead and go over the tag with a little bit of distress ink. And then I'm also going to cut out this little present from that paper that we used earlier to make like a little ephemera piece. And I'm just going to go over it with distress ink and glue it to the top of the page tab. And then add another layer of lace to this tag as well. Alright, and now that it's done, we can go ahead and add our eyelet to the larger tag and our little journal word here with a bulb pin to the corner. And for decorating this tag, I'm going to go ahead and make like a torn layered corner pocket here. So I'm just going to grab a scrap piece and tear a corner piece off like this. And then I'm going to grab a scrap piece of a different paper and do the same thing but a little bit taller. And if you're having trouble tearing, you can always use scissors to cut like a little slit here, and that can kind of help you get a cleaner tear. So I'm going to tear this taller piece here. And then I'm going to go over it with some distress ink and then add a little bit of glue as well to the sides and the bottom, leaving the torn part open. Just like this. And then the shorter one will go on top, and if you find it's a little too tall, you can always tear it down a little bit more. And then I'm going to go over this with some distress ink as well, all of this in the vintage photo distress ink. And then gluing the side and the bottom so that they layer just like this. And then go ahead and trim off any extra you might have showing on the front. And there you go, now you have a layered pocket, so we can go ahead and tuck a couple of tags in here. I'm gonna use this snowman one, and then this little pink like holiday one right here. All right, and that will finish up the back of the files, so we're gonna go ahead and turn it over and decorate the front. And for this, I'm just gonna keep it really simple. I'm taking a little bit of this pink lace that I have, and I'm just going to measure it and glue it to the side here, trimming off any extra. And just keep it really, really simple. And then I'm gonna go over the edges in this Distress Oxide in the color Victorian Velvet, which is this nice, really soft pink color. And I'm also going to go over a journal word with it as well that I add to the frame in the very front. And again, we will have links to all of these inks down below if you are interested in having them yourself. All right, and that finishes the little file, so we're gonna go ahead and go over the large card in that Victorian Velvet color as well. And that will finish up our pink Christmas tag. I think personally, this one is my favorite, but of course you could use any kit you want to do the exact same thing if you want like a more traditional color. I'm just showing how you could do it with any color or any kit to have like a lot of variance. So for our last one, we are going to be using the Christmas Village kit, which comes with these really pretty purple and green colors in it. And I didn't have a Merry Christmas, so I'm pulling the scrap piece from the North Pole's letter scrap pack and just cutting out the Merry Christmas from that. I'm not sure if I used the piece or if it ever came with one. I can't remember. We've had this kit for a long time, so I'm just going to go ahead and use this little piece and make it work for me so that we can kind of keep with our theme. And I'm going to cut around this little basket here, sort of using these lines on the side as a guide. And I did try to add like a little scalloped edge to mine. I don't know if it really worked, but I still think it turned out pretty cute anyway. All right, and I'm going to glue that to the bottom, same as we've been doing before. Making a little pocket here, and then adding a little bit of lace trim. And then instead of creating like a big tag, I'm just going to tuck these little decorative pieces that come with the kit here, this like teal one, and then also this like tree card, and add a little page tab with a wagon wheel to it to the back. Just like that. And then again, adding our eyelet and our little skinny word tag to the corner here. All right, and now we can go ahead and make a little label for that Merry Christmas piece that we cut out. So I'm just going to cut a little border out of this decorative paper that comes with the kit. Just like this, cutting it down. I didn't measure, I just eyeballed what I liked. And then I went over the corners with a corner rounding punch. And then I'll be going over that with the Vintage Photo Distress ink. And then using some puff tape, add it to the front of the tag. All right, and I'm going to be taking some Distress ink in the color Dusty Concord, and I'm going to be blending it with the Distress Oxide Victorian Velvet to kind of get the right shade. I sort of tested it out on this ephemera piece until I could get a good color match here. So I kind of just went in lightly with the purple and then a little bit heavier with the pink, and that seemed to give me the right color that I wanted. So I'm going to go over that tag that we used on the front earlier with the purple and then the pink here to get that right shade. And that just kind of helps it stand out a little bit from the background. And then going back in with that Distress ink in the color Vintage Photo, I'm going to go around the entire card. And then working on the file, I'm going to add this little tag pocket here to the back of it. So going over it in those two colors again, and then sliding this little matching tag into the pocket. This comes with the kit, by the way. And then I'm just going to add an eyelet to that tag to make it look finished. and glue the entire thing down to the back of the file. And then flipping it over to the front, I'm going to be using this ephemera piece. I went ahead and cut it down just a little bit to get rid of that extra blank space at the bottom. And then going in with that vintage photo ink, I'm going to be using this behind a piece of lace on the cover, just like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a small ticket here, just cutting it off from the set that comes with the kit. And then just gluing that down on top of that little ephemera piece, and then gluing the lace down on top of both of those. And this is what it should look like when done. Alright, so that is our Christmas file pockets done and decorated. Okay, I hope you got lots of ideas for making Christmas tags this year, so thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye!